We are going to do activity 45 now, which is putting together monetary and fiscal policy. And sometimes you do fiscal and monetary expansion together. Sometimes you do fiscal and monetary contraction together. Right now, in our crazy world, we're definitely expanding like crazy, the most we've ever done together. But sometimes you might do like fiscal policy expansion, but monetary policy contraction, or monetary policy expansion and fiscal contraction. And those all have different ways they affect the economy. So let's look at this first one here. The unemployment rate is 10%, CPI is at 2. So it looks like we got a high unemployment rate and a low inflation rate, which means we want to have expansionary policy. Okay, so if that's the case, then obviously we'll have, we'll have AD here, and obviously I want you to do the whole thing. You can do this on a separate piece of paper if you need to. AD and SRAS. I'm just going to put AS here, sort of. And then you have expansionary policy. Make sure you show the price increase, price level increase, the output increase. And then here, you have money supply and money demand. And then you're expanded. So here's your new money supply. And so what that does over here is you have the demand for loanable funds. You have your supply for loanable funds. You have your real interest rate, and then you have your investment. Okay, and then we will increase our demand for loanable funds, because if we're having expansionary fiscal policy, right, we're moving AD this way, and that's pushing up interest rates, which, as you know, will crowd out investors, because here is the new here is the new rate of investment, but here is how much private investors are doing. So this increase in real interest rates due to an increase in fiscal policy crowds them out. So as a result, we're going to have expansionary monetary policy, and that will move our supply of loanable funds this way, which will bring down real interest rates and put us back to where we started off, which will keep private investors from being crowded out. That was actually happening before this financial crisis. We were spending so much money and or cutting taxes. Either way, it's expansionary. And that was pushing the demand for loanable funds really high, and that was crowding out investors. And if you looked at the investment, particularly capital good investment, which is what this is about, you saw that capital goods were not doing real well, and we had a lower amount of capital investment over the last couple of years, and this was the reason why. So this is what would sort of happen, and then you will, do this, and then kind of go and answer the questions and explain why there's movement. And then we get here where we have unemployment at 6, but the inflation's at 9. So you're going to contract both of these. So the same thing, you'll graph these, except contractionary, where the demand here goes down and the supply of money goes down, the AD goes down, and what happens here. And then lastly, you're going to have contractionary monetary, where you move the money supply, raising interest rates, but you're also going to move AD this way, either through government spending or cutting taxes, and that will affect the loanable funds market a little bit differently. So it almost will certainly raise interest rates a lot. So answer these and go over these questions. I'll come back and make another Phillips curve little thing here where I go over the Phillips curve with you and talk about how it works. The Phillips curve is pretty easy and pretty goofy. But it randomly isn't even that good of a curve or going to tell us anything. The ADAS curve tells us all the same stuff. And ironically, this Phillips guy didn't get a Nobel Prize, but a whole bunch of people have won a Nobel Prize for just kind of saying how stupid the curve is. And that's not the only reason they won it. But anyway, go ahead and do questions 1, 2, and 3 for this day. And you can sort of see I've started you off. You want to show how the stuff moves and make sure you're explaining it. If you have any questions, make sure you're emailing or texting me. And I should have a way. We should be meeting online soon with Google Meet. So that is that.